If you're trying to get attorney referrals in probate and you're not getting calls back, it's not because attorneys are busy, and it's not because they didn't like you. It's because they've already evaluated you and decided you were unsafe to refer. And that decision usually happens inside the meeting. You never hear the no, you hear, "We'll be in touch." I call this silent rejection. Most agents think they're building rapport in those meetings. Attorneys are running a quiet evaluation to see whether you understand how probate cases actually work and whether referring you creates risk for them. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how that evaluation works, what attorneys are listening for, and why most realtors operate in ways that create liability exposure they can't see. Most probate training tells you to buy data, call heirs, mail letters, and then compete with dozens of other agents. That approach doesn't fail because you're bad at it. It fails because it completely ignores how attorneys think. Attorneys are not looking for marketing help. They're not looking for someone hungry. They're not impressed by your production numbers. They're asking one question: if I refer this realtor, does my risk go up or down? And if you don't understand how to answer that question, you'll never get referred, no matter how good you are at real estate. Here's what most agents never realize. Attorneys don't evaluate you based on what you say you can do. They evaluate you based on whether you understand the sequence of the case and the risk at each step. They're listening for: do you know what has to happen before the next step can begin? Do you know where things typically break? Do you understand what exposes them legally even after the sale closes? And that evaluation is quiet. And if you fail it, you're out. Politely, permanently, and without feedback. My name is Curtis McDaniel. My background isn't traditional real estate. I spent 15 years building zero-failure systems in aerospace and semiconductors, environments where skipping steps isn't an option. I later moved into legal operations as director of training and development at a national law firm, where in 1 year I more than doubled case volume from 8 million to 20 million per month by engineering intake and workflow systems that close the loop between business development and legal operations in a high liability environment. What I do now is apply that same operational discipline to probate through ProbateExecutive. So when I say attorneys are evaluating you in ways you can't see, I'm not guessing. I've built those systems on their side of the table. And I've seen exactly where realtors create exposure without knowing it. Here's the framework attorneys use, whether they articulate it or not. The real estate portion of every probate case moves through 4 operational phases. And when you sit across from an attorney, they're listening to see whether you understand what has to happen in each phase and in the correct order. And knowing the phases isn't the same as being able to operate inside them with documentation that survives scrutiny. If you can't demonstrate procedural fluency, you're filtered out before the meeting ends. Now, I'm not going to walk you through all 4 phases in this video. That's what the full briefing is designed for. But I want you to understand what's happening when attorneys go silent. They're not being rude, they're being defensive. Because if they refer you and you create exposure, that exposure lands on them, not you. A missed title issue, an undocumented expense, a vendor dispute 2 years after close. Those don't make you look bad. They make the attorney look like they delegated to someone who wasn't ready. And you'll never know that's what happened. If you're recognizing this pattern now, if you've left meetings thinking they went well and then heard nothing, the issue isn't your follow-up. The issue is you're being evaluated on operational competence and you're presenting sales capability. 2 different languages and 2 different standards. To help you see what attorneys are actually listening for, I've created a complete operator briefing that walks through the 4-phase framework attorneys use to evaluate realtors and shows you exactly what procedural fluency looks like in practice. This isn't about being a better salesperson. It's about becoming operationally safe inside fiduciary files. The link is below. I'll see you in the briefing.